It is being dubbed social media nicotine for children. Attorneys general in more than a dozen states are now suing TikTok, claiming the app is purposefully designed to hook children and not let go. And they claim the safety measures installed on the app are not living up to the claims they make.
Oh, so concerning. All right, joining us now, Chief Legal Expert Khalif Rhodes. So Khalif, North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein is a part of this lawsuit. And I also want to be able to point out that one part of it claims that the app is designed to just keep users scrolling endlessly so they can be able to keep making that revenue. And from a parent's perspective, I am just like, whoa.
So it's not my kid's fault, basically, because I thought it was just their fault, like going like this, but it's actually built into the algorithm.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. So this is crazy. This case is where you get a lot of attorney generals working together. It's a coordinated effort where everyone is saying, look, we're going to go and not attack this company, but at least file claims in individual states. As a company, it has to be problematic because you got to think about it. You're just trying to worry about your day-to-day, trying to operate. You're worried about outside influence, people trying to get into your market space. But now you got to worry about defending multiple lawsuits. They're already worried about getting banned in the United States. They're worried about the lawsuit that was filed earlier this year by the Department of Justice. They're worried about the request for a number of other different things. And now you have to worry about this lawsuit by 14 other folks that allege a number of things that they targeted. I mean, the language in here was like some type of mafia type of claim. It's like they targeted individual kids, and it's all about the children when they write in here. And so this claim has a lot of damaging effect on TikTok outside of the other mountain of other things they have going on.
So you hinted at this a little bit. It's at risk of being banned in the U.S. How could this lawsuit potentially influence that?
I think they're extremely separate. I mean, outside of all the other things that they've been sued for and attacked with, this is probably the only one that's kind of an island by itself, because in that situation, while we are talking about kids and we think kids are our national treasure, with the banning is a national security risk issue. They're saying that having a China company having access to the data that's placed in that app will put our country at risk, something totally different than putting our youth at risk. While I do think both of them are compelling and strong arguments, they're extremely separate. What I think that the banning portion may come way before any of these lawsuits see the inside of a courtroom.
Hit from every angle then.
100%. I mean, if you're getting hit by a Department of Justice, you're getting hit by a state of attorney, you have a number of different claims. I mean, 14 at least with just this one. They're going to have 14 different attorneys in multiple states attempting to fight off these claims.
All right, I want to get back to the kids, So the new legal complaint, although it's heavily redacted, I want to add that in, references a TikTok internal document and uses the language there is that people who are under the age of 13, it specifically says that, are considered to be a critical demographic in this lawsuit. So how can that all be a part of this?
If you're tracking the Department of Justice original claim, the Department of Justice said the exact same thing. So that was on the federal level. They're saying you guys were violating COPA by getting their information, but at the same time, you were attempting to make sure that you target these kids that were underage, and you knew that. I mean, they cite a number of things in this claim, and think about who's citing this. This is someone that we're extremely familiar with, Letitia James. Name familiar?
Yep.
That's who went after the former President Donald Trump. She has now them in her crosshairs, just like she did Meta. She's going after a number of these social media companies. But she said that they put profits over safety and made TikTok extremely profitable. They said that they maximize users' time so the platform can boost revenue. They're making this about kids and about money. And anytime you can do that, especially in front of a jury, the jury's always going to side with the kids. But they're also putting the data behind it. They're saying there's a number of studies that show 14 out of 15 or 16 kids that use this that are in high school feel lonely, feel depressed, they're feeling sad. They're pointing to these studies that can say that, look, if you have older kids, not just the younger kids that are already developing these problems, what is it doing to these younger kids that we don't even have enough information on? You're looking at those features that they have built in there, like the built-in customization filters. Those things are making kids feel bad about their appearance because they see other folks that are using them, and now they're having these guilt trips about how they feel.
Wow. Oh, Khalif Rhodes, such good insight there, especially
that last. I can't ask.
That last part.
Out of time.
And real quick too, also with that, it also goes into your parenting style, because your parenting style over the years,
the responsibility,
right, in terms of what you have for your kids.
That's why I'm going to get my kids the phone that goes like this, so they can just
flip phone. It's called flip phone. Thanks, all right. Appreciate it. Right.